Hi, I'm Chad with Move Forward Guitar. This lesson is from our course Beginner Course 2. Beginner Course 2 picks up right where Beginner Course 1 left off, and you're going to learn more chords, chord progressions, strumming patterns, how to play in time to a basic beat, and much more. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you 2 more chord progressions. First off, this course includes jam tracks as well as a corresponding premium eGuide. The eGuide includes all the detailed charts and diagrams for each lesson, step-by-step instructions to help you practice and retain the material in the video lessons, extra bonus tips and tricks, and much more. To accelerate your learning, be sure to grab the jam tracks and your copy of the premium eGuide by clicking the link on the screen or looking in the description below. So I'm going to teach you 2 more popular chord progressions, and these take the chords you've learned in this course but add back in the A minor and E minor and show you how good those sound together. And those are going to really help you get the transitions between all those chords, which will be really important. So first I'll just demonstrate them for you and then I'll go through them. So if you look in your eGuide example 1, the first one is going to be G to A minor to E minor to D. And again, we'll start off with the transitions. This one from G to A minor, you're just going to have to remove all your fingers and move them into place. It's a lot like the G to C major move that we were doing before, because A minor and C major share 2 of the same fretted notes. So if you have the G to C major, this shouldn't be too hard to get down, but just go back and forth, G to A minor, move all your fingers, try to get them down at the same time, back and forth. So the next transition is from A minor to E minor, and in the last course I showed you going like this, where you could play your A minor and then you go to your E minor with your second and third fingers, because that's an important transition to get down. But actually A minor to E minor does share 1 fretted note, which is under your second finger. So you can go from A minor, leave your second finger down, take off your first and third fingers and move your first finger into place. And keep going back and forth like that. And the thing about it, when you're leaving 1 finger down, a lot of times you kind of have to slide it to get it back into place for the new chord. And it's a little tricky with A minor to E minor because it kind of has to slide back and forth. That's why a lot of times it's better to go with your 2 fingers back and forth to just lift everything off, because that's a pretty easy transition. When you go from A minor like this, leave your second finger down, you have to slide your second finger forward in the fret a little to let your first finger fit. So it's not necessarily the best way to do it. So you can try it both ways and see what works best for you. But obviously if you went through the last course, you already have it like this, so you can practice going and leaving your second finger down. And then just see which one you like better. And the one nice thing about playing the E minor with your first and second finger is when you're going to the D major, it's in a little better position to go to the D major, because it's a pretty big movement to go from up towards the ceiling to down towards the floor for the D major. When you're using your second and third fingers, it's a bigger movement to get to that D major like I'm doing right now. But if you're from your first and second, it's a little smaller of a movement. But it's really up to you and whatever you like the best. It's kind of a preference thing. And then your last transition is from D back to G to start over or end. And that one again, you should already have from the previous one, because we were going back and forth from G to D. So just leave your third finger in place to go to that G. Once you have the transitions down, do 4 down strums per chord like we're doing. And look in your eGuide, it's listed out for you. That's example 1. And then do example 2, which is basic strumming pattern 1. And that would sound like this without the jam track. And then with the jam track at 70 beats per minute, it would sound like this. So again, just start without the jam track, start at 50 beats per minute, and then work your way up to 70 beats per minute. Then we're on to the next chord progression, which is the last one we're doing in this lesson, and that one goes from C to G to D to A minor. So this time we're actually starting on C instead of G. So C to G transition you've already worked on in the last one because we're going from C to G to start over on that progression in lesson 6. From G to D you already have down, that was in that progression in the last lesson. But then from D to A minor you haven't worked on. So that one you're just going to play the D major, release all your fingers, get them in place for the A minor. There's no shared fretted notes, you're just going to have to work on that over and over until you can get all your fingers down at the same time. And then do it back and forth just so you can get it back and forth between those two chords. And then the last one is from A minor to go back to C to start over or end. And that's a really easy transition because, like I said earlier, A minor and C major share two of the same fretted notes. So you're only going to take one finger, which is your third finger, and move that. So from A minor, you leave your first and second finger, remove your third finger from the 3rd string 2nd fret and move it to the 5th string 3rd fret. But your 1st and 2nd finger just stay there the whole time. So it's a pretty easy transition once you get it down. You don't need to move your 1st and 2nd finger. So just go back and forth between A minor and C until you have that smoothly. And then again, once you have that down, do the same steps as we've been doing. Just play 4 down strums per chord. Once you have that down smoothly, play basic strumming pattern 1 without the jam track, then play 2 the jam track, then play basic strumming pattern 2 without the jam track, and then basic strumming pattern 2 with the jam track. So here's with basic strumming pattern 1 to the jam track at 70 beats per minute. And again, just take it slow, start at 50 beats per minute and work your way up. So those are 2 more really popular chord progressions to learn. You'll find them in lots of songs. And getting these transitions down will really help you out for learning songs and being able to play a lot of different songs. So really take your time with it and go through and get it to the point where you can play it with the jam track and up to that 70 beats per minute. Be sure to look in your eGuide under this lesson where you'll find step-by-step instructions for how to practice and retain everything that we just went over. You'll also find instructions for when to move on to the next lesson. So thanks for watching and keep moving forward.